And so Jesus says that he came back to life, and Paul says, look, this is foolish according to the world. This is absolute ridiculous. But the ways of God aren't wise to the world. And so he says, you can choose to believe in the impossible things that God has done, or you can just meh. And that's where our faith is at, is do we believe that Jesus says who he is, or do we believe it's something else? And what Jesus tells us about these things in the Gospel of John, he knows that it's going to be hard for us. He knows that for us that haven't seen these things, to believe is hard. One of the last blessings that he gives in the Gospel of John, John 20:29. Blessed are those who have not seen, yet they have come to believe. Amen. Right? I mean, I know some of y'all are getting up there, but none of y'all were there when Jesus was crucified, right? Like, we have any first-hand testimony? No. So it's saying, Jesus is saying, I know you haven't seen this, but you're going to be blessed because even though you haven't, you still believe. I really think the words of George Michael suit us best. You just got to have faith, faith, faith. Right? Because I know it'd be nice to touch Christ's body, because I know not everybody's got a resurrected body like Christ's body. That's what Thomas did, right? Thomas walked up and said, unless I touch his body, unless I can feel the holes in his hands, then I'm not going to believe. And Jesus is saying, blessed are you who don't believe. And George Michael tells us we got to have faith. So church, we got to have faith. And what Paul is doing is pointing to the fact that if we have faith in Jesus, what did we learn about last week? That Christ will set you free. Oh man, y'all passed. Good job. That we will be free from sin and death. That Christ will allow us to be free. But trust me, this is not an easy thing for us to do all the times. Because we can look at the ways of the world. You can look at the ways of the church, honestly, and say, really, this is the best God has to offer. I mean, how many of y'all are thinking about that about your pastor right now? Like, really, this is the best God's got? We have to believe. And as we believe, what Paul is saying is that as soon as we believe, as soon as we have faith, justification happens. And justification is a big deal in the church. And I know it's one of those fancy church words. I mean, when was the last time you were walking around and you're just like, man, are you justified? No, you don't use that word typically, right? But what Martin Luther, you've heard of Martin Luther, the reformer that started the Protestant movement of the church, he said the whole of Pauline theology is around this thought of justification. And what he says justification is the article by which the church will stand or fall. That justification is vital to who we are as followers of God. And to simply put justification, it means us being made right with God. Because what we saw last week is that sin separates us, right? When I choose to sin, when I choose to disobey God, I come and I hide because I don't want y'all to know what a bad sinner I am. And none of y'all have ever hid because of your sin, right? And what justification does, what faith does, is it brings us into a relationship with God. Where we're not back there hiding, but we know that we have been made right with God. And so the Father, the Son, and the Spirit, don't know if you know that's what represented up here. Father, Son, Spirit, is within us, dwelling us. And justification says not only is God way over there and I'm way over because I'm a sinner, but man, God is